Hello, and welcome back to Song Surveys on Sofas with Superheroes. So I'm really excited about today's video. This is actually a request that was made in the comments of a previous video. And so I love getting requests. It was awesome. Either bands I've never heard of before or people that I did hear of and kind of know their stuff, but have never really delved into it. And so that's the case with this artist today. Obviously know the popular songs, but never really thought about it and kind of delved deeper. So this was a great opportunity to do that. And so thank you for the suggestion. I really appreciate it. Awesome. So excited to do it. So let's get right into it. So the song is When Doves Cry by Prince. And yeah, so it starts with this amazingly quick and complex guitar part. So good. And I haven't heard this song from the start on the radio very often or recently, but I could totally see that being something that did not make the radio edit. So the fact that, I actually really listened to it for the first time, amazing, so awesome. And then a percussion part comes in and the guitar continues, but is a little bit different. And so then this whole beginning is just such complexities and little things added and then taken away. So I like that a lot. So the guitar stops and this new layer is added, and it kind of sounds like someone is saying one word, like no or yeah or something like that. And it was kind of played around with to make it a little bit more synthesized sounding. So then that word comes in and you still have the percussion, and then you get this other added layer of actual piano or a synthesizer, more probably a synthesizer sound. And then that synthesized word stops. So again, it's you get added this layer and then this layer gets taken away. And then the synth continues. And yeah, so it's pretty awesome. So then the lyrics start and you're left with pretty much just the percussion, which I actually really love, especially because this beginning has so many layers to begin with. And then you kind of just get it all stripped away and you get just the lyrics, right? So you're just focused on those lyrics, which I think is super important come the chorus, and I'll talk about that. So I love the fact that right off the bat, Prince is asking the person to imagine what the words are depicting, right? So Prince is saying, I have these things that I want you to be playing in your head. And so yes, to really create that image. So I especially love the second verse's images in particular. In a courtyard with oceans of violets, just the beauty of that, and just, the thought of using oceans, right? So it's just mass of almost waves of just violets. So I think that's a pretty cool image. And then I love animals strike curious poses. Such a good way to say that. I just love the word order and word choices. And not only that, but I love how it's saying too. It's you get this echoey singer in the background, so it almost sounds like it's a little bit more of an echo. It's so great. And it's so great because it's the first time that you get this kind of uniqueness to the verse. And so I love it. I love that line, and it was just such a good place to put that unique moment. Really, really loved that. Yeah. So I should go back a little bit. So in the first verse, I love his prolonged S on the words at the end of the word kiss. And then this, so good. It's just such a subtle little detail. Such a subtle detail. It was fantastic. So then after the first two verses, the synth comes back in for the chorus, which again, I kind of mentioned this briefly 10 seconds ago, but I love that, again, you get started with these two verses and it's all these nice lovey things and you're oh my gosh, this is such a nice image. I'm told to make this thing in my head and create these pictures, and this is great. And then it's boom, you're wait, whoa, what? Right? Because you learn that this person is mean, this person is cold, and you're oh, okay. Sorry, didn't realize that. And I just love it. I love that, you think, okay, this song is a love song that's going in one direction, and then the chorus hits and you're nope, not the direction I thought this was going to be going in. So I really liked that. I really, really liked that. I also love the comparisons to Prince's parents. And it just really makes me think that if Prince's mother was never satisfied, then their father, who is too bold, which I also like that descriptor, wasn't never enough for the mother. So that could like totally impact how Prince views relationships and love in general. So that's just like, I just love it because it's such a simple, it starts as such a simple concept, right? Comparing me to my father, comparing you to my mother, but then really it's like just this other deeper layer, especially because the mother has never been satisfied, right? Which means that the father is not satisfying her and the relationship is not satisfied. And even just being her son, like that is also like hard, right? Or being like someone's child and feeling like you as a child have never satisfied your parent. So like, I really love the complexities of that. I think that that's really great. And again, it's like, if you just look at it, that single layer of comparing people to people, you're like, oh, okay, like that's cool. But then to actually like really think about what that means, especially because Prince is talking about Prince's father and then Prince's mother, right? The Prince is not talking about the other person's mother or father, specifically like the way that Prince has grown up and the way that Prince has watched these relationships take place. So I think it's very interesting. I think it makes the chorus so much more complex and it's just fantastic. And I mean, how many times have I heard that lyric and not really thought about it, and to really, really delve in and think, oh, it's so good. So again, I really appreciate the suggestion. It was so good. I love it. Okay, and then so part of that chorus too, I really, really love how the words "so cold" and then "never satisfied" get repeated. Again, this little subtle detail, and especially in later choruses when that detail kind of, gets enhanced a little bit, really love that. So you get started with just "so cold" and "never satisfied" being repeated after they're sang. Love it, think it's fantastic. I also really like just the question of why they scream at each other. I think it's fantastic, especially because the chorus is kind of filled with questions. Like, is it because I'm bold? Is it because you're like unsatisfied? Is it because of this? So I just like really love that. Then you get this question of like, why are we screaming at each other? Like, this is just like, I love it. I think it's so good. And it's a great way to kind of get away from the comparisons and kind of bring it into, the rest of the chorus. And so after that, the last lyric ends the chorus with the song title. And after that, you get some yeahs and some oohs, which again, just like these little tiny subtle details before you get into the next verse. Really love that. So I love the way that Prince talks about their stomach trembling. I really, really like that, because then the next line is, you've got the butterflies all tied up. And so I really like the idea of like that fluttering is like when you're excited and first kind of in love, like, oh yeah, I have butterflies in my stomach. But then the idea that if your partner suddenly has your butterflies tied up, your stomach went from like flutter to tremble. And so I really, really like that. I think, again, it's just like something to think about, right? And you can interpret it like 1,000 different ways, but that's how I interpreted it. And so I really, really like that idea of, so you take like these like fluttering things, but then like, yeah, what happens when that flutter is gone, right? Especially if your partner who you had those flutters for suddenly like changed it and kind of, I don't know, took your butterflies and made them more of a tremble than a flutter. So I really like that. So this verse doesn't have the same synth as the chorus. So the synth is different, but there's definitely like something in the background. And I actually really love how it's like a subtle sound in the background. And I super, super love the synth part in the line, don't make me chase you. And it's like this like quick synth. And so I really love that, because it kind of makes you feel like someone's being chased or is like starting to kind of quicken their pace. And so I really like that. I thought that was, again, like just a subtle detail. Prince is so good at subtle details. It's just, so good. So yeah, there's not a ton of difference. So the synth comes after that, the third verse, the synth comes back in for the chorus. And there's really not a lot different with the choruses, but like I said before, that repetition. So instead of just so cold being repeated, now it's world so cold. And then instead of just never satisfied, you get the she before never satisfied. So again, this is a little detail. This is the second chorus, second repetition, a little bit different. Definitely keeps my attention, makes me interested. So then after that chorus is repeated, you get synth with oohs and yas, and then you get the chorus again, but this time for the third chorus, there's way more repetition of lyrics, and you get like partial repetitions of certain words, and like it's so great. I love the changes. Again, I can't say this enough times. I know I say it every time I listen to a song, but I really love subtle changes. It just makes the song like that much more interesting and engaging throughout. It's not just the same chorus over and over again. There's something different, and especially in this third chorus is more different than the first two for sure. So I really, really like that. Then the music drops and you get repetitions of When Doves Cry. You get this like crazy instrumental bridge with oohs and yes and Doves Cry repetition. Then you get this like really great guitar part. It's just like amazing. This whole like bridge ending part is just like music magic. It's great. Yeah, so then you get this really great guitar part. Loved, yeah, so then after this guitar part, you kind of get these like yells, and it's not like yas or oohs, it's like screaming kind of, like actual yelling. And so I really, really loved that touch, especially because you know, this is what it sounds like when doves cry. So that's kind of the, like, you kind of understand, and why are we screaming at each other? So again, you get these yells at the end of the song. I really like that. I like the way that it's all kind of connecting together. And yeah, so then after that, you get those yells. You get this awesome synth part. Like, just loved the synth part with these like yas beforehand, and you get yas sprinkled into the synth part. I really, really liked that. And then you get some music with repetitions of Doves Cry, and then yeah, you get this like kind of unique outro, definitely distinct from the rest of the music, at least at the end of the song for sure. It's kind of like the end, the music kind of comes to like a stop, and then you kind of get this like very unique sounding outro. So yeah, really loved the song. I mean, again, I've heard it how many times on the radio randomly, just in the background at restaurants or whatever. So yeah, it was really fun, and I really enjoyed kind of delving deeper into an artist who, again, familiar with, but not like super familiar with. So thank you so much for the suggestion. Please leave them in comments section if you want me to look into a particular song or artist. I'm happy to do it. And yeah, so like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.